This is a journey into the heart of a book that has shaped civilizations. But we're not here for the parables you know. We're here for the stories that defy belief. What if I told you the Bible contains events so strange, so shocking, they feel more like fiction than sacred text? Prepare to witness 10 biblical events that challenge our understanding of history, faith, and reality itself. These are the stories that don't always make it into Sunday school. Our first stop is ancient Egypt, a civilization at the height of its power. The story of the Exodus is well known, but the sheer scale of the plagues of Egypt is often understated. Imagine a world thrown into chaos, one catastrophe at a time. The plagues as cosmic warfare. The first plague wasn't just about turning water to blood. For the Egyptians, the Nile was life, personified by the god Happy. This was a direct assault on their pantheon. Each subsequent plague systematically dismantled their belief system. The plague of frogs targeted Hecate, the frog-headed goddess of fertility. The death of livestock struck at Hathor, the cow goddess. The terrifying darkness, a direct challenge to Ra, the mighty sun god himself. This wasn't random destruction. It was a targeted psychological war, culminating in the heartbreaking death of the firstborn, a strike against the divine lineage of Pharaoh himself. It was a complete unraveling of a nation's spiritual identity. The judge's horrifying vow. We travel now to the time of the Judges, a period of chaos and moral ambiguity. Here we find one of the most tragic and unsettling stories in the entire Bible, the story of Jephthah. Jephthah was a mighty warrior, an outcast who was called upon to save his people from an invading army. Desperate for victory, he made a rash vow to God. If you give the Ammonites into my hands, whatever comes out of the door of my house to meet me when I return in triumph will be the Lord's, and I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering. He won the battle, but the first to greet him was not an animal, but his beloved daughter. The text is brutally honest about his devastation. In a world where honor and vows were absolute, Jephthah was trapped. What followed is a haunting testament to the tragic consequences of unchecked zeal. The Bible doesn't glorify this. It presents it as a gut-wrenching tragedy, a cautionary tale that resonates with a chillingly human cost. The fall of Jericho. The story is legendary. The Israelites march around a fortified city, blow their horns, shout, and the walls come tumbling down. It sounds like a fairy tale, but what if there's more to it? Archaeology at Jericho has revealed a complex history, with multiple layers of settlement and destruction. While the exact timing of the biblical account is debated, evidence of collapsed mud brick walls and a layer of burning has been found. Some scientists have even proposed theories of resonance, suggesting that the specific frequencies of the trumpets and shouts could have created vibrations that weakened the structurally vulnerable mud brick walls. Others point to seismic activity in this earthquake-prone region. But the true marvel isn't just how the walls fell, but when. The biblical account emphasizes a precise 7-day ritual. Whether through a natural phenomenon directed by divine timing or a direct supernatural event, the fall of this impenetrable city sent a shockwave through Canaan, establishing the Israelites as a force to be reckoned with. The unbelievable strength of Samson. Before superheroes, there was Samson. His story is filled with feats that defy imagination, slaying a lion with his bare hands, killing 1,000 men with the jawbone of a donkey, and, in his final act, bringing down a pagan temple upon himself and his enemies. Samson wasn't just a strongman, he was a Nazirite, consecrated to God from birth. His strength was tied to his vow, symbolized by his uncut hair. The story isn't just about physical prowess. It's a deeply human drama of a flawed hero. He was impulsive, driven by passion, and ultimately betrayed by the woman he loved, Delilah. His final act, a suicidal demolition of the Philistine temple, is a moment of both vengeance and redemption. It's a stark reminder that even the most gifted individuals can fall, and that true strength is often found in moments of ultimate weakness and surrender. Elijah's fiery ascent. People in the Bible die. It's a fact of life, but not Elijah. In one of the most visually stunning events in the Old Testament, the prophet Elijah doesn't die. He is taken directly to heaven. As his apprentice Elisha watches, a whirlwind appears, and a chariot of fire with horses of fire separates them. Elijah is then taken up into the heavens. This isn't a quiet passing. It's a spectacular, divine exit, a testament to his powerful ministry. It's an event so singular it cemented his status as one of Israel's greatest prophets, with the expectation that he would one day return. Jonah and the great fish. A prophet who runs from God gets swallowed by a giant fish and then gets spat out on a beach 3 days later. It's a story so strange it's often dismissed as a children's tale. But to do so is to miss its profound point. The account doesn't specify a whale. The original Hebrew uses the term great fish, but the focus isn't on the biology of the creature. It's about the inescapable nature of a divine call. Jonah is sent to the wicked city of Nineveh, a place he despises. His 3 days in the belly of the fish are a descent into darkness and a symbolic death, from which he is reborn onto the shore, ready to finally obey. And the most unbelievable part of the story isn't the fish. It's that the entire ruthless city of Nineveh listens to him and repents. The story is a powerful lesson in mercy, and the idea that God's compassion extends even to one's enemies, a message Jonah himself struggles to accept. Elisha and the cursing bears. This next story is one of the most bizarre and disturbing in the entire biblical narrative. After inheriting Elijah's mantle, the prophet Elisha is traveling when a group of youths mock him, shouting, "Go on up, you bald head." Elisha curses them in the name of the Lord. And out of the woods come 2 she-bears who maul 42 of the youths. In our modern context, this seems shockingly disproportionate. But in the ancient world, a prophet was God's representative. Mocking the prophet was tantamount to mocking God himself. This brutal event served as a terrifying public display of the authority and power invested in Elisha as Elijah's true successor. It's a harsh and unsettling narrative, a reminder of a culture and a time vastly different from our own. The destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah is infamous for its depiction of sin and divine judgment, but the physical description of its end is what truly astounds. The Bible says the Lord rained down burning sulfur on the cities. Some scholars and archaeologists have theorized that this account could be the memory of a cosmic impact event. Geological evidence in the region points to a cataclysmic airburst from a meteor or asteroid around 3,600 years ago, an event that would have superheated the landscape and rained down molten material. The detail of Lot's wife turning into a pillar of salt might be a vivid description of a person caught in this pyroclastic surge, encased in vaporized minerals. This isn't to say science proves the Bible, but it provides a stunningly plausible backdrop for an event that would have seemed like the very wrath of God. The raising of Lazarus. Jesus performed many miracles, but the raising of Lazarus is unique. It's personal, emotional, and deliberately public. Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. In the cultural understanding of the time, after 3 days the spirit was gone and decay had set in. There was no hope. The text highlights Jesus' own deep emotion. It says Jesus wept. This is not a detached display of power. It's a confrontation with the pain and finality of death. When Lazarus emerges, still bound in his grave clothes, it's a moment that shatters every known law of nature. It was the most undeniable and provocative miracle of his ministry, an act so powerful it directly led to the plot to have him killed. He had not just restored life. He had declared himself to be the master of it. The resurrection. This is the cornerstone event, the one that makes all the others pale in comparison. After a brutal public execution, the body of Jesus of Nazareth is laid in a sealed tomb. 3 days later, the tomb is empty. His followers claim to have seen him, spoken with him, eaten with him. This wasn't a spiritual vision. They described a physical resurrection. An event so reality-altering that this small, terrified group of disciples would go on to spread his message across the known world, willing to die for their conviction that their leader had conquered death itself. Whether you view it as a historical fact or a foundational myth, the belief in this single, impossible event changed the course of human history forever.